Act as if disrespect no longer has permission to live in your life. Not tolerated, not excused, not explained away, but rejected. Not because people will suddenly change, not because they will understand your worth, but because you have decided that your standards are no longer negotiable. Most people secretly allow small insults, quiet dismissals, subtle disrespect. They tell themselves it is not worth addressing, that it is easier to stay silent. That silence becomes the reason they are treated the same way again and again. Life responds to boundaries, not wishes. Ask yourself this with brutal honesty. If disrespect were impossible in your life from today forward, how would you carry yourself? How would you speak? What would you stop accepting immediately? What weak explanations would collapse the moment they tried to justify poor treatment? People who command respect do not begin with power. They begin with self-respect. A refusal to be spoken down to. A refusal to shrink to make others comfortable. A refusal to accept behavior that dishonors their value. You have heard the advice before, but not properly. Not the polished version. Not the shallow tips. You have not sat with the discomfort of standing up for yourself, the fear of being misunderstood, the loneliness of choosing dignity over approval. Those who are respected were not fearless. They learned courage by acting while afraid. They did not wait for confidence. They moved first, and confidence followed. There is a difference. Hoping people will respect you creates passive behavior. Deciding you must be respected creates presence. When someone crosses the line, the person who values themselves does not argue. They adjust access. They change energy. They walk away if needed. Respect is not begged for. It is enforced through action. Your life cannot belong to weak standards if it is to belong to you. Remove the language of doubt from your thinking. Words like, "It's okay," "They didn't mean it," and "I'll let it slide" weaken your position before you even speak. Look closely at your habits. Do you tolerate what drains you, or do you protect what builds you? People who rise in life do not wait for perfect treatment. They move with self-belief borrowed from decision alone. Once the decision is final, the mind reorganizes itself. You stop over-explaining. You stop proving. You stop chasing validation. Understand this before any rule is revealed. No one will respect you more than you respect yourself. Not friends, not family, not co-workers. That is the law. The moment quitting your standards becomes more painful than holding them, everything changes. If disrespect is no longer allowed, then weak connections become unacceptable. Fake smiles become suspicious. Old patterns become enemies. You stop asking why people treat you poorly and start asking why you allowed it. This is not arrogance. It is self-command. When a person sets firm boundaries, energy shifts. Time becomes sacred. You no longer waste words on people who do not value them. You are not late. You are standing at the moment where self-worth becomes visible. The people you admire were not born confident. They were tired of being overlooked, so they chose differently. Make this vow now. I will not tolerate disrespect. Listen closely as this unfolds. You will not hear fantasy. You will hear reality. The reality of people who stopped being available for nonsense and started becoming unshakable. By the end, disrespect will feel foreign to you, not because people are kinder, but because you are stronger. This is not attitude. It is alignment. And once your thoughts, actions, and standards move as one, the world adjusts. Respect is not given by chance. It is earned by law. The fortress mind, guard your inner world. You cannot stop others from trying to diminish you. This is a fact of life. Wherever people gather, opinions clash, tempers rise, and careless words are spoken. Some will attempt to belittle you to feel larger themselves. Others will act without thinking, driven by impulse rather than understanding. You cannot silence the world, but you can build walls within that cannot be breached. When disrespect arrives at your door, you alone decide whether to let it inside. You are the gatekeeper of your inner world, and that role belongs to no one else. Most people do not guard this gate. They throw it open at the slightest offense. A sharp remark, a dismissive tone, a look of disrespect, and instantly their peace is invaded. The words and actions of others seep in like poison, spreading through their thoughts, shaping their mood, stealing their calm. They react before they think. They answer before they understand. They give away their power without realizing it. But you are not most people. You are learning to live differently. Imagine your mind as a mighty fortress atop a cold mountain. Its walls are thick and unyielding, built stone by stone through discipline and awareness. Outside, the winds may howl without mercy. Storms may batter the gates. Voices may shout, accuse, and provoke. Yet inside the fortress, there is silence. Inside, there is order. Inside, you are still. Whenever someone treats you with disrespect, pause. Do not react. Do not answer at once. Do not rush forward with words shaped by anger or pride. That instant urge to respond is the test placed before you. Instead, withdraw inward. Step back into your fortress. Observe the feeling that rises within you, the heat, the tension, the desire to strike back. Watch it calmly, as if you are watching a storm pass across the sky from the safety of your walls. You do not chase the storm. You do not fight it. You simply remain unmoved until it passes. You must learn this truth and return to it again and again. Nothing another person does can touch you unless you allow it. Their words carry no weight unless you pick them up. Their disrespect has no power unless you give it authority. You remain untouched, your dignity intact, because you never hand over the keys to your fortress. You decide what enters. You decide what stays outside. Hold yourself back from immediate reply. This moment of restraint may feel uncomfortable at first. It may feel unnatural in a world that rewards quick reactions. But this pause is everything. It is the first act of control. It is the first sign of mastery over yourself. From this single act, strength grows. From this seed, discipline takes root. In time, you will find that fewer things disturb you. The world remains the same, but you are no longer pulled into every passing storm. You stand firm, grounded, and composed. Guard your inner world. Keep the gate. Your fortress is not made of stone, it is made of choice. See their weakness, not your worth. The one who disrespects reveals themselves, not you. This is the first truth you must return to whenever you are tested. Every insult, every slight, every cold glance is not a judgment of your value. It is a confession of another person's inner state. Their behavior speaks loudly about their character, their struggles, and their unrest. It does not speak about your worth. People often forget this because the sting of disrespect feels personal. Words land sharply. Tones cut deeply. Pride reacts before wisdom has time to speak. But if you pause and look carefully, you will see the pattern. Strong, balanced individuals do not seek to diminish others. Secure people do not gain strength by tearing someone down. Those who are whole have no need to harm. Weak souls lash out because they cannot bear their own weight. They carry inner tension, frustration, and unresolved pain. Instead of facing it, they release it outward. They strike with words. They mock. They dismiss. They look down on others in an attempt to rise above their own discomfort. Their disrespect is not proof of your shortcomings. It is a mirror showing their unrest. This is not an excuse for their behavior. It is an explanation. And understanding this truth frees you. A person who feels small will try to make others feel smaller. A person who feels lost will try to confuse others. A person who feels powerless will try to take power wherever they can find it. Disrespect is often the language of inner disorder. Once you see this, the insult loses its authority. It no longer defines the moment. It reveals it. When someone mocks you or dismisses you, look past their words. Do not stop at the surface. Do not argue with the insult or wrestle with it in your mind. Instead, step back and observe. Ask yourself quietly and honestly, what pain, what confusion, what smallness must live inside this person to act in such a way? This question changes your position. You are no longer beneath their words. You are above them, looking clearly at the source. This does not make you superior. It makes you aware. Do not take it personally. This is not indifference. This is discipline. To take everything personally is to give strangers control over your inner world. It is to allow passing moods and careless words to shape how you see yourself. You do not need to carry what was never meant for you. Their darkness does not belong in your chest. Their bitterness does not deserve space in your thoughts. Many people unknowingly adopt the voices that harm them. They replay insults in silence. They question themselves long after the moment has passed. They begin to shrink, not because the words were true, but because they were accepted. Refuse this habit. Refuse to become a container for another person's pain. See with clear eyes. Clear vision is power. When you see behavior accurately, it loses its grip. You recognize that disrespect is not an evaluation. It is an expression. It is not a verdict. It is a signal. And signals can be acknowledged without being obeyed. You cannot control how others behave. You cannot command their maturity, their awareness, or their restraint. Expecting the world to act wisely at all times is an invitation to disappointment. But you are not powerless. You always retain the authority to choose your response. You can decide what enters your inner world and what stays outside. Refuse to let their sickness infect your own spirit. Bitterness spreads easily when it is welcomed. Anger grows when it is fed. Resentment deepens when it is rehearsed. Guard against this. The moment you mirror their behavior, you join their disorder. The moment you absorb their negativity, you give it life. You are not required to correct everyone who misunderstands you. You are not required to defend yourself against every careless remark. Silence, when chosen with clarity, is not surrender. It is restraint. It is confidence. It is the quiet knowledge that your worth does not depend on another person's recognition. You are not what they say you are. You are not defined by someone else's inability to see clearly. Your value does not rise when praised.